A very warm good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Vani, and I welcome you to India's most loved bio channel, Mere Pyare Chunni Munni Gangsters. I hope everyone's doing well. Today is the Thalaiva batch. The Thalaiva batch is a pure English batch. So once a week, for all my students who are not so good with Hindi, I do a pure English batch. But there are great things coming on Vedantu Biotonic. Tomorrow, I'm going to be launching a revision crash course. 60 days full biosolve when you score 360 marks. One day I will do the theory and the next day I will do the MCQ. So very warm good evening. Let's get started with our theory batch. The theory marathon, plant physiology, and I will not go fast. I will go very slow. I will explain everything, and just in case we need to do this plant physiology in 2 days, we will do it in 2 days also. So next week also I will continue with the same topics. Very warm good evening after the Diwali break. So happy to be live in front of my students without wasting even one moment. Let's quickly get started. And kal se, tomorrow onwards, a crash course which is starting. Everybody, don't miss it, okay? My name is Dr. Vani. Been teaching for 13 years now. Hundreds and thousands of my students are sitting in the top medical colleges of our country, being awarded, rewarded, written 2 books with MTG. I know you are asking, Diwali mein books aane wali thi because of the printing press, also some holidays due to Diwali. It will be out very, very soon. Okay, everyone? Yes, hit the like button, everyone. Make sure that you're liking, make sure that you're sharing, make sure that you're subscribing, and let's go. So guys, please join my official Telegram group, Vedantu Biotonic, so that you don't miss any of the lectures. You will get all the notifications right here. I just have one dream, and that dream is to make sure that every child in our country studies. The poorest of child in our country studies for free. That is my dream. Please help me fulfill my dream by making sure that all your friends जो afford नहीं कर सकते, people who cannot afford to go to a Delhi, Bombay, Kota, coaching XYZ ABC Institute भी पढ़ सके. So do that for me, please. And let's go. Right? I take Telegram lives, I take Insta lives, I take Ask Me Anything. I'm always there trying to do the best I can for you. Righto! Let's get started, everyone. I'm also going to start a topper talk very soon. In this week's topper talk, I will get AFMC student who's cracked AFMC this year. My student. Yes, अपना टाइम सेव कीजिए, ऑनलाइन पढ़ाई कीजिए, इनफैक्ट फ्री में वेदांतु बायोटॉनिक के साथ पढ़ाई कीजिए. Anything you want to ask me. Every day I write on Quora. I've got some 80,000, 90,000 views in just 1 month on Quora. हर रोज मैं Quora पे क्वेश्चन का आंसर देती हूँ. I'm always there helping you out. That's my personal tele ID. कोई प्रॉब्लम है, I'm always there for my students. Let us start plant physiology with the first topic, that is transport in plants. Can we start, everyone? Yes, everyone. Bio mere hawale, Arbina. I won't let you down. Chaliye, everybody with a yo ma'am on my screen. Audio clear, video clear. And what are we starting tomorrow? First, let me show you what am I going to do with you tomorrow. So, can you see this? Can you see this? Free crash course, one shot, 60 days, pure free crash course. Starts tomorrow with human physiology. Free crash course, 60 days, syllabus 11th, 12th, खत्म. Start होने वाला है कल. Free crash course, one shot, digestive system आपको खत्म करा दिया जाएगा. Yo everyone. Yes, आज plant. Today we are going to be doing. It's an English batch. I'm going to be speaking purely in English. It's the Thalaiva batch today. Yes, everybody. Let's get going. Chalo. So let's start with transport and plants. Now, please open your copies, everybody. All my Thalaiva batch students. Open your papers, open your pens, open your copies. Even if it takes me 2 more lectures to do plant physiology, I will do it deeply. I will do it properly with you. Done? Open your copies, and now let us try and make the final notes. Right? Free crash course. It's in English. So crash course is going to be for both the students. Let's start transport and plants. I want 3 things everybody to do. Number 1, if possible, open your NCERT, because these are NCERT based classes. So try and open your NCERT. Please sit with yellow pages like these. Can you sit with them? so that in your NCERT you can mark them. If you're very quick, please open another, if you have made notes, if you've already made notes, please open your notes copy. And whatever I'm doing, write it down. Also, if you have an error copy, any of the three things, if you have an error copy, whatever you're forgetting, write them down. So it's a very good opportunity to not only revise, but to also quickly make notes with me right now. Done? Right, everyone? After this, from December, I will also do mind map revision. So that's going to be very, very quick. But this revision is in depth. It's not a quick revision, it is a depth revision. Let us start with the means of transport. Now, transport happens, you have xylem, which is going to transport water and minerals, and you have phloem, which is going to transport food. Now, whenever transport has to take place, there are three means of transportation in plants. What are the three means of transportation? Whatever I am highlighting, it's based out of NCERT. Whatever I am highlighting, at least that much should be highlighted either in your NCERTs or written down in your copies. Is that clear, everyone, how we are going to proceed? Is that clear with everybody? Whatever I'm going to highlight a lot of things. These are pure NCERT notes. So this is NCERT which is simplified, on the lines of which my theory book is also coming. So whatever I'm highlighting has to be either in the yellow pages, underlined in your NCERT, or written down in the form of notes. Right? So let us do this. I will also do a quiz in the description box. Today also you can find a quiz. I will also do a quiz on this, but please remember to highlight and to study. Let us now move forward. Now, whenever something is moving from a region of high to low, that is the first question which will come from diffusion. Is that clear? Anything which is moving from high to low is diffusion. If it is basically air particles, and let me write it down, it is passive. That means there is no energy which is being spent. It is passive. Is that clear, everyone? Yes? Done? There is no energy. The rate of diffusion, this is a very important MCQ, depends on temperature. If temperature increases, rate of diffusion increases. Remember the arrow which I am putting? If pressure increases, rate of diffusion increases, and concentration gradient. If the concentration gradient is more, that means high pressure and low pressure has more difference. On one side you have 80, on one side you just have 10. There is more difference, rate of diffusion will increase. So diffusion, number one point in your error copy or your notes copy, air. It is passive. It moves from high pressure to low pressure or high concentration to low concentration. Temperature increases, diffusion increases, pressure difference in pressure when you apply, diffusion increases. And if the difference between the various substances or the concentration gradient increases, diffusion increases, done. Facilitated diffusion. Do you see a specific channel? This is the first word that should be written in your copy. Do you all see a specific channel? I want everybody to say yes. If you do see a specific channel for transportation across the plasma membrane with the help of a special membranous protein channel, it is called as facilitated diffusion. It requires membrane proteins. If you do not have a channel, if you do not have membrane protein, diffusion cannot occur. Is that clear, everyone? Yes? Is the voice low? Let us check that out. Give me 10 seconds, please. I don't think so. The voice should be low. Check now. I think the voice should be fine. Can everybody make a red heart and tell me, is the voice fine? Is a bit low? Okay. Is it very low or a bit low? It is low. Okay. So for that, we will have to change the cell of the mic. Okay. Yes, I'm very much live. So will it be fine for you to do it today? Is it fine for today? Yes? And maybe I can change the mic cells tomorrow. Right? Okay? Because if I do it in the middle of the class, so I'll change that tomorrow. Would that be fine? Perfect. Okay, so we did facilitated diffusion. membranous proteins are the most important things. Without membranous proteins, facilitated diffusion cannot take place. So they are specific. It is very, very specific. For the specific particles, specific membranous proteins are there. Let us now come to active transport. The most important part which comes, it requires ATP, so it is active transport. It requires energy. Even this goes from high pressure to low pressure, so it is passive, it does not require energy. But active transport moves solute against concentration gradient. That means in this movement occurs from low pressure to high pressure, and whenever the movement has to occur from low pressure to high pressure, you always require source of energy, which is ATP. You also have very, very specific proteins, but the biggest difference between facilitated and active is in active you move the particles from low pressure to high pressure, thereby requiring energy. In facilitated you do not move the particles from low to high, you move them from high to low, therefore you do not require energy. Is that clear, Akriti? Don't worry, I'm going to be regularly taking classes for NEET 23. Don't be stressed, and if you have a specific problem, please feel free to ask me. Is that clear, everyone? I'm going to move ahead to the next class. Is that clear? So these are the three types of transports which occur. Now, what are the types of facilitated diffusion? What is facilitated diffusion? Let's do a quick recap. Whenever you have a carrier protein, can you see a carrier protein? So whenever you have a carrier protein which helps in movement across the membrane, that's called as facilitated. There is a facility. You do have a carrier protein which takes it from one side to the other. If only one substance is going from across the membrane, that's called uniport. In the comment section, I want examples of each one of them written in the comment section. Let me see who gives me the best correct examples. If two substances are going, that is called a symport, but they have to go together. Can you see? The blue one, they are going together in one direction. Sim means together. If they are going together in one direction, that is called as symport. But if one substance goes inside and another substance goes outside, for example, if you send 3 sodium out, you get 2 potassium in. That is called as antiport. Glucose is transported along with something else in symport. What is it? Do tell me in the comment section. So I repeat, if only one substance is going, it is called as uniport. If two substances are going across the membrane in the same direction, that is called as symport. If one substance is going in, the other is going out, that's called as antiport. Anti is against. So 3 molecules of sodium are sent outside the membrane, and only 2 molecules of potassium are getting inside. You obviously require ATP. That is called as antiport. Along with sodium, we sometimes get glucose. That is called as symport. Through the same carrier protein, along with sodium, we sometimes get glucose. Well done. That's called as symport. Do tell me more examples in the comment section. Let me see how many of you are doing correct. Chali. Let us with this move forward. Now, comparison of, this is NCERT. Can you see this in your NCERT? Open your NCERT quickly. Pure NCERT diagram. Please by heart it. Simple diffusion does not require proteins, is not selective. That means it will not say I will take this, I will not take this. There is no saturation, it moves, keeps on moving because it occurs through membrane. Uphill transport does not. What is uphill transport? Low to high. What is uphill transport? Low to high, and this requires energy. Does not require energy, simple diffusion. Right? Special proteins facilitated, yes. Selective because the specific proteins. Saturate because when the carrier protein is going to be full, you cannot carry anything else. But it also carries from low to high. No! It carries from high to low. Therefore, this is wrong. ATP required in active and uphill transport because active is low to high. Low to high is called as against concentration gradient. Is that clear? We are doing transport beta chapter. Right, Simadri, Sandeep? You don't know the chapter also? Transport in plants. Done, everyone! Let's move forward to the next chapter. So I'm going to be doing nearly the entire plant physiology. Now, this is very important, and I'm 110% sure that 99.9% of you, if now I give you MCQs on these, you will not be able to solve them. Yes or no? Yes? Yes? if I give you MCQs right now, you will not be able to solve. I can give you guarantee of this thing, right? Because इसके MCQ सबके बस की बात ही नहीं होती solve करना. चलिए, so let me now solve this particular thing for you right now, right here. Done, done, done. चुनी मुनी gangsters. चले? Can we start? चलो, 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 चलो. What is water potential? The water potential of pure water at standard temperature, which is not under any pressure, is taken to be 0. This is the highest value. If you keep adding solutes to it, water potential becomes negative. So water potential, pure water, what is the meaning of pure water? Pure water is that water which does not have solutes. So what is pure water? Pure water is the water which does not have solutes. There are absolutely no solutes. At standard temperatures, which is not under any pressure, pure water is 0. MCQ. Pure water is 0. When you add solute, this water becomes solution, and addition of solute decreases the water potential. Solute always binds to solvent, right? So the solvent, the water decreases. The moment you add solute, negative water potential. That means if solute is more, the more the solute, the more negative is the water potential. Is that clear, everyone? जितना ज़्यादा solute for my Hindi speaking audience also, उतना negative water potential. The more solute you add, the more negative is the water potential. Pure water means absolutely no solute. The water potential is taken to be 0. Is that clear, everyone? Now, when water enters a cell, when the water enters inside the cell becomes turgid. The cell becomes turgid, becomes full of water. That pressure, this cell is completely full because water has entered inside. So the pressure which is applied by a turgid cell, turgor pressure against the cell wall, right? When the water enters the cell, this cell becomes turgid, फूल जाता है turgid. तो जब वो pressure लगा रहा है, that is called the pressure potential. I repeat, pure water has water potential 0. When you add solute, first statement, pure water has water potential 0. The moment you add solute inside it, water potential becomes negative. More the amount of solute, more negative is the water potential. If you keep on adding more and more solute, the water potential becomes more and more negative. Pure water, the water potential is 0. When there are solutes inside a cell, there is a cell. उस cell के अंदर solute है. So obviously it will absorb the water. When it will absorb the water, the cell will become turgid. It will become fat. It will become round. It will become turgid. Now this turgidity, the cell will put pressure on the walls like this. The cell puts pressure on the walls like this. That's called the turgor pressure. The turgor pressure is put against the cell wall. As the turgor pressure increases, right? As the cell puts pressure outside, suppose this is a cell, it becomes big, fat because water is coming inside. As the turgor pressure increases, the pressure potential, because this cell itna tha, then the cell absorbed water became this much, then the cell absorbed even more water, and so it is putting pressure on the wall outside. More water is there, but it's putting pressure. So the pressure potential increases. As the pressure potential increases, it puts pressure outside. Pressure potential is usually positive. When the cell puts pressure outside on the wall is outside, the cell is putting pressure outside. As the pressure increases, pressure potential also increases. Cell swells up. Is that clear, everybody? Are you all getting my point? Done. Now, pressure arising. Why is the pressure there? Right, everybody? Because inside what was there? What was there inside? Solutes was there. And because of this solute only water came inside. When water came inside, you started to apply pressure. Right? So, solute. Pressure arising from presence of solute. Because remember that solute attracts solvent. ये solute ही तो होता है जो पानी को attract करता है. Agar if you take a bar like this, if you take a cup like this, if you take a saucer like this and you put salt or sugar or whatever and you keep it outside, after some days when you come, after some time when you come and touch it, becomes wet. Why does it become wet? Because it has absorbed the water. So solute potential, because the solute absorbs water. Sugar, salt, all the solutes, they absorb water. So as solute concentration increases, right, solute potential, psi S, decreases. Solute concentration. Solute potential is because of solute in a solution. Whenever you have solute, it will bind the water. It will bind the water. Solute always attract solvent. याद रखना, नमक रखोगे पानी को absorb करके गीला कर देगा, चीनी रखोगे पानी को absorb करके गीली हो जाएगी. Now total water potential is equal to psi P, which is pressure potential, plus solute potential. Is that clear? And always remember, pure water is zero when you add solute, because it binds water. The potential decreases, it becomes negative. See, it becomes negative. Is that clear, everyone? I have done it so many times before also, but I will do it in detail in today's class also. Done, done, done. इसके MCQs करवाऊंगी मैं आपको, then you will be able to understand it in so much more depth. Now, can you see this beautiful slide? Done. When there is more solute outside, can you see so much solute is there inside, less solute, more water has gone out, because water always moves from, see, there is more solute here. So whenever solute increases, solvent will decrease in solution, because solute will bind to the solvent, na? Solute attracts water. So if you put a cell in a hypertonic solution, hypertonic matlab outside solute is more, outside solute is much more. देखो कितना solute है बाहर, outside solute is more. Yes, everybody, the water, can you see the water is going outside? Can you see the water is going outside? The cell will shrink. So when you place a cell in a hypertonic solution, that means outside the cell solute is more. Therefore, high pressure of water, low pressure of water. Water will move from high pressure to low pressure. Water will move outside the cell. That is called as exosmosis. Cell is going to lose the water, which is called as exosmosis. Shrivel, matlab the cell is going to become like this small. Did you understand that, everyone? This cell, the water will come outside. The cell shall shrivel. Is that clear, every single one in my class? Say yes, ma'am. Quickly, and guys, who's going to make sure that you like, share, subscribe? Come on. If you put a cell which is equal, the number of solutes outside and the number of solute inside is equal. So the amount of water which will go out will be the same as the amount of water which is coming in, which is isotonic. That is what is plasma. That is what is plasma. That is what is the blood plasma. So the RBC is therefore in blood plasma. Do not lose water. But can you see that outside solute is less? Inside solute is more. So here there is high pressure of water, because solute is less, high pressure of water. Here there is low pressure, so water will come inside. The cell is going to swell up, and finally, if it is an animal cell, it will even burst. Plant cells cannot burst because they have a cell wall outside. So the water coming inside is called as endosmosis. Water coming inside is called as endosmosis. Is that clear, everyone? If you put it in a hypertonic solution, it will lose water, which is called as exosmosis. If you put it in an isotonic solution, the amount of water going outside is equal to the amount of water going inside. Nothing is going to happen. If you put it in a hypertonic solution, which is less solute outside and more solute inside, water will come inside. The inside entry of water is called as endosmosis. If the outside solute is less, that is called as hypotonic. Outside solute is more, that is called as hypertonic. Am I clear to everyone? Yes, everybody? Yes? सचिन कह रहा है ऐसे का क्या मतलब है, ऐसे मतलब कैसे? डन, चलिए. Okay, let's come to slide number 17. Transportation of water and minerals. So there are transportation of water and minerals. Number one, do we have to transport water from soil to xylem of roots? 100%. Who absorbs from the soil? Can anybody tell me who's going to absorb from the soil? There's something called root hair. Root hair is covered by epiblemma. Epiblemma is hygroscopic, absorbs a lot of water, right? So who's going to absorb from the root? Root hair. Root hair is covered by epiblemma. Epiblemma is hygroscopic, it really absorbs water. Remember the word hygroscopic, remember the word epiblemma, write down in your error copy, baba. Very important. So through osmosis, xylem के अंदर water is going to enter, soil to xylem of roots. Then from that root hair, it's going to go to the cortex, it's going to cross over through the passage cells, it's going to go to the cortex. Right, everybody? What are the pathways to go to the cortex? Tell me. There's one pathway which is called as symplast. There's another pathway which is called as epoplast. Both of them meet at Casparian strip and passage cells. You should know this. इसी के ऊपर assertion reason आएंगे. So epoplast is from outside, symplast is from inside. So what is epoplast going to use? Right, outside part of the cell. From xylem of roots to xylem of leaves. From root to leaf, xylem के अंदर एक बार enter हो गया. It is going to use the cohesive adhesive forces. Cohesive adhesive forces में क्या आएगा? It is going to use the cohesion tension pull theory, right everyone? It is also going to use transpiration pull, because transpiration is a necessary evil and the water is going to be pulled upwards. Did you understand that? From leaves to atmosphere, it is going to diffuse because of transpiration. Parenchyma, right? And cohesive क्या होता है, adhesive क्या होता है, like and like. So xylem and water plus water. Capillarity पता है, the xylem vessel is very very thin. That is capillarity. Is that clear? Joy Gaming, Riddhi, done, right? So from the soil to roots, symplast, epoplast, roots to leaves, transpiration pull and cohesive adhesive forces, and from the leaf to the atmosphere, diffusion, because the leaf will have parenchyma, stomatas on the lower side. Assertion reason question. Stomatas on the lower side, so they can even be parenchyma. Well done, very well done. Let us move to the next slide now. Short distance movement. See, I have explained both these movements to you. If there is movement which is happening from outside the cell, is there intercellular spaces outside the cell? If there is movement which is occurring from outside the cell, can you see it is going from outside the cell? If the movement occurs from outside the cell, it is called as epoplast. Water and solute move by diffusion, but they do not enter the cell. Sim means together. What does sim mean? Sim means together. If it becomes a part of the cytoplasm of the cell, from one cell to other cell, it is going to move through plasmodesmata. Very, very important MCQ question. So from one cell to another cell, it is going to move through plasmodesmata. That is referred to as symplast. From one cell to other, if it moves through plasmodesmata, it is called a symplast. It comes inside the cell. It becomes a part of the living cell, right? If it moves from one cell to other with diffusion, it is called as epoplast. It is occurring through outside the cell. But if it becomes a part of inside the cell, it is moving through osmosis. From one cell to other, there are cell-to-cell connections in plants. What are the cell-to-cell connections called? The cell-to-cell connections are referred to as plasmodesmata. So if it goes through plasmodesmata, it is called as symplast. If it goes from outside the cell through diffusion, it is called as epoplast. So if they ever ask you that out of these two, which is the one where it becomes a part of the cytoplasm of the cell, you have to answer symplast. Please don't spam. What's your name? Total Joy Gaming. Please don't spam. Right? You're a Biotonic mascot. Very nice. Do not spam the chat section. Please, I'm repeating because somebody will come and block you otherwise. Root pressure and guttation. So if the root applies pressure, sometimes see during daytime, water loss occurs by transpiration. Do you all agree with me? So during daytime there is transpiration, and transpiration से water loss होता है. Do you all agree with me? Yes, my dear kids. Right, and don't forget that tomorrow we are going to start the crash course. So during daytime, water loss occurs by some amount of transpiration. So the extra water is pulled. But during night time, there is no sunlight. Because there is no sunlight during the night time, there is no water which is absorbed through transpiration, pull. There is no water which is lost. So what happens to the extra water? Can you see the margin of the leaf? Can you all see the margins of the leaf? The margins of the leaf have specialized cells. So these are the margins of the leaf. You can very easily see them. And these margins of the leaf have special cells. The special cells are called as hydatodes. What are the special cells called? They are referred to as hydatodes. On these hydatodes, you have excessive water which is, which is not lost by transpiration. That extra water is lost through guttation. So guttation is root pressure. Root pressure is pushing the water up, but there is no sun. So that extra water, what should happen to that extra water? That extra water is lost through hydatodes. That extra water goes to the margins of the cell. Can you see the margin of the leaf? In the margin of the leaf, you will have hydatodes from where the extra water is lost. That is called as guttation. अगर ये दिन होता तो ये extra water would have been lost by hydatodes, by transpiration. Now can you see water is getting absorbed? First step is water from soil to root hair. How is it happening from soil to root hair? I have told you epiblemma, hygroscopic. What is the method? Tell me the method. Osmosis, MCQ question. From soil to root hair it is going through osmosis. Can you all see that? Next one. After osmosis, it has two pathways. One pathway, which is the outer pathway, is apoplast. If it goes inside the cell, the pathway is called as symplast. Is that clear, everyone? And then water needs to move up. To move up, water has two forces, cohesive and adhesive. Cohesion is between like molecules. So what is the like molecule? Water and water. Hydrogen bonding between like molecules is cohesive. Adhesive force. Adhesive. Cohesive is between like water and water. Hydrogen bonding. Cohesive is like molecules. Adhesive. This is the reason why water is going up. First of all, the xylem vessel is very small. Small xylem vessels, it is called as capillarity. It is called as capillarity. Number two, water molecule with water molecule is called as cohesion. And water molecule attaches to the cell wall. Unlike molecules, that is called as adhesive. So, if there is a bonding between like molecules, it is called as cohesion. If there is a bonding which is between unlike molecules, it is called as adhesion. These forces keep the water molecules together. Is that clear, everyone? Is that clear, everyone? Yes?